You don't scream. You don't wake anyone up. You just stare at the screen. 1,047,328.46. The numbers glow in the dark at 3:47 in the morning, and the first thought that hits you isn't happiness. It isn't relief. It isn't even excitement. It's silence. A deep, hollow silence that fills your chest because you already know, with absolute certainty, that you are not telling anyone. Not tonight, not tomorrow, maybe not ever. This is the story of what happens when money lands in your lap while you're still wearing a $12 t-shirt, sitting on the edge of a bed you've had since college, in an apartment where the rent is due in 4 days. This is the story of what happens when the world changes but you don't. By the end of this, you'll understand why the richest people in the world don't look rich at all. But more importantly, you'll understand what happens to a person who keeps a secret this big for this long. Because this isn't a story about money. It's a story about what money does to you when nobody knows you have it. Day 1. The sun comes up like it always does. You didn't sleep. You couldn't. The phone is face down on the nightstand because you can't look at it again yet. You walk to the bathroom. Same mirror, same toothbrush, same face staring back at you. But something is different. You can't put your finger on it. Your eyes look the same. Your shoulders are in the same place. But the person looking back at you knows something the mirror doesn't. You pour cereal into the same bowl. You sit in the same chair. Your roommate asks if you're going to pay the electricity bill this month, and you say yes, and you mean it, and you pull out your phone and pay the $87.43 while he's still pouring his coffee. You watch the numbers leave your account. They don't even make a dent. Not anymore. And you smile. Not because it's nothing, but because it's still something. Because paying that bill still matters. Because if you stop caring about the small things, they'll know. Then comes the first test. Your phone buzzes. Group chat. Your friends are ordering pizza tonight. $15 each. Your finger hovers over the keyboard. You could say yes, easily now. You could say yes to everything for the rest of your life, and it wouldn't matter. But you type what you've always typed. Nah. Saving up. Maybe next then. The lie tastes strained, not bitter, just strained. Like speaking a language you haven't practiced. Because if you change now, if you start saying yes to things you used to say no to, they'll notice. And noticing is the beginning of knowing. And knowing is the end of the secret. Week 1, you're at work, or in class, or wherever it is you spend your days. Someone complains about gas prices. You nod agree. You make the same sounds of frustration you've always made. But inside you're calculating. You're doing math you never used to do. 1,047,000. Minus rent. Minus food. Minus the car payment you don't anymore because you paid it off this morning in 30 seconds while sitting on the toilet. You didn't even tell yourself you were doing it. Your thumb just moved. The confirmation email came. You deleted it. The number barely moved. It still says 1 million something. And that something is more than you've ever had. More than your parents have ever had. More than anyone in your family has ever had. Combined, you catch yourself almost offering to pay for lunch. You stop mid-sentence. You catch yourself almost upgrading your seat on the train. Your hand moves toward the first class cabin then pulls back. You catch yourself looking at apartments online. Bigger one, nicer one, ones with windows that actually face the sun. You close the tab. You don't clear your history. You just close the tab because the secret is new. The secret is fragile, and you're still learning how to carry it. Then the leak happens. Not a big one, not a dramatic one. Just your mother calls, or your best friend texts, and they ask if you're okay. They say you've been different. They can't explain how. You look the same. You sound the same, but they see something. A straightness in your spine that wasn't there before. A stillness in your hand. A pause before you answer questions about money. You freeze when they ask. You laugh it off. You say you've been sleeping better. You say work has been good. You say everything is fine. And it is. It's better than fine. But you can't tell them why. Because here's what nobody tells you. When you carry a secret this heavy, your body learns to carry it. Your shoulders straight, not from pride, from the weight. And people can see weight, even when they don't know what it is. Month 1. You haven't bought anything new. Not yet. But you see the world differently. You notice things you never noticed before. The man at the parking meter counting out quarters. The woman in the coffee shop checking her bank before she orders. The couple outside the restaurant arguing about the bill. You see the stress in people's hands. The way they check their phones before swiping a card. The way they calculate the tip. The way they hesitate before adding guacamole. You used to be them. You were them 3 weeks ago. And now you stand in the middle of a crowd and watch them rush past you, and you don't move. You just watch. Because you're not one of them anymore. But you're not one of the others either. You're in between. You're invisible. You're a ghost with a secret. And then comes the guilt. Not because you have it. Not because you don't deserve it. The guilt comes because you can't tell them why you're not worried anymore. Your coworker stresses about rent. Your friend cries about student loan. Your brother talks about working overtime for the 3rd month in a row. And you sit there. You sit there with $1 million in your pocket, and you say the same things you used to say. That it will work out. That something will come up, that you just have to keep grinding. And every word feels like a lie. Not because it isn't true, but because you know exactly how much it would take to make it true for them. And you know you're not going to do it. Not because you can't. Because once you start, you can't stop. And once you stop, everyone knows. At night, you sit alone, laptop open. You browse Zillow, You look at houses you'll never buy, not because you can't afford them, because you won't. Because buying a house means a mortgage, means a banker, means questions, means someone knows. You look at cars, you look at watches, you look at things you never cared about before, and you realize you still don't care about them. You close the laptop. You go to sleep in the same bed, and you realize the money didn't change your life. It changed your loneliness. It made it deeper. It made it quieter. Because now you have a reason to be alone, and you can't tell anyone what it is. Month 3, you're at a birthday dinner. Same restaurant, same friend, same joke. Everyone splits the bill at the end. You pay your $18.63. You count out the cash like you always do. You make sure you have exact change, but you could have paid for all of it. You could have paid for everyone's meal for the next year and you wouldn't feel it. And you want to. God, you want to. You want to throw down a black card and tell them it's covered. You want to see their faces. You want to hear them ask how. You want to tell someone, anyone, just one person, but you can't, because once you do, the questions start, and questions turn into assumption, and assumptions turn into They'll look at you different. They'll calculate what you owe them. They'll wonder why you didn't help sooner. They'll wonder what else you're hiding, and the friendship you had, the real one, the one built on shared struggle and cheap pizza and splitting gas money, that friendship dies the moment they know. So you count out your $18. You put on the table. You smile. And you carry the secret home with you. You start to master the silent. You learn to live inside it. You think you've won. You think this is the end of the story. You think you've figured it out. Keep your head down. Keep your mouth shut. Keep living like you always lived. And no one will ever know. You stand on a rooftop one night. City lights below you. Wind in your hair. A small smile on your face. You feel peaceful. You feel powerful. You feel like the only person in the world who knows what real freedom feels like. You think this is it. This is the finish line. But you are wrong. You are so wrong. Month 6. You wake up at 3 in the morning again. Not because of the notification this time. That was months ago. You wake up because of the math. The math won't let you sleep. You lie in the dark and you divide 1 million by 12, then by 30. Then by the number of years you could stop working. The number is too big to feel real. It doesn't feel like money anymore. It feels like time, unlimited time, unstructured time, time that belongs to you and only you. And that terrifies you more than being broke ever did. You realize something that changes everything. The people around you aren't stressed about money. Not really. They're stressed about purpose. They're stressed about meaning. They're stressed about whether the thing they're doing matters. And you just bought yourself the one thing that makes that question impossible to ignore. Time. Unlimited time to sit with the question of who you are and what you're doing and why any of it matters. You sit in your car. Same car, 200,000 miles. You could buy a new one. You could buy 10 new ones, but you don't because you finally understand the car doesn't matter. The apartment doesn't matter. The clothes don't matter. What matters is that you have no idea what to do with the time you've just bought, and nobody can help you figure it out because nobody knows you have it. You start going to a therapist, not because you're sick, because you can't sleep, because you sit in rooms with people you love and you feel like you're watching them through glass, because you have everything you ever thought you wanted and you feel emptier than you did when you had nothing. You tell the therapist about stress, about work, about feeling disconnected. You don't tell her about the money. You pay in cash. You don't know why. You just do. She asks you what you want. You don't have an answer. You used to know. You used to want a better apartment, a better car, a vacation. Now you can have all of it. And you don't want any of it. And you can't tell her why. Month 9. Something shifts. You're at the grocery store. Same grocery store. Same aisle. Same cereal. A woman in front of you is counting coupons. Her hands shake a little. She's buying the store brand. She's putting things back. You watch her. You used to be her. You are her, but you're not. And for the first time, you don't feel guilty. You feel grateful. Not for the money, for the perspective. You realize the secret didn't isolate you. It taught you how to see. It taught you that everyone is carrying something. Everyone has a number in their head that keeps them awake. Hers is rent. Yours is purpose. The numbers are different, but the weight is the same. You start doing small thing, anonymous thing. You pay for the person behind you at the drive-thru. You leave a $100 tip for a $20 meal. You send money to a friend through Venmo with no explanation, just a smiley face. You don't tell anyone. You don't post about it. You don't want credit. You just want to move the money without moving yourself. You want to help without being seen. And it works. It feels good. It feels clean. It feels like the secret is finally doing something other than sitting in your chest, making it hard to breathe. Month 12. 1 year later. You still haven't told anyone, and something impossible has happened. You stopped wanting to. You walk down the same street. You wear the same clothes. You order the same coffee, but you're smiling, not at your phone, not at anything in particular. Just at the world, because you finally understand the money was never the point. The secret was. The secret taught you that wealth isn't what you show. It's what you don't have to prove. It's the ability to sit in a room and be exactly who you are without needing anyone to know what you have. It's the freedom to be invisible, the power to be ordinary, the luxury of not being seen as a dollar sign. You sit on a park bench. An old man sits next to you. He doesn't know. Nobody knows. You just sit there, together, watching the same pigeon, breathing the same air. And you realize this is it. This is the thing you were looking for. Not the apartment, not the car, not the watch. This. Sitting next to a stranger and being exactly the same. No better, no worse. Just a person on a bench with a secret that doesn't matter anymore. Because the secret stopped being about the money a long time ago. It became about who you became while you were carrying it. Remember that night, 3:47 in the morning, the notification. The numbers, the silence, the rain against the window. You thought the hard part was getting the money. You were wrong. The hard part was learning that the richest thing you own is the life that looks exactly the same but feels completely different. The hard part was understanding that nobody needs to know, that the wealth you never see is the wealth that doesn't need a witness, that you can have everything and choose to have nothing, that you can be a millionaire and still sleep in the same bed and drive the same car and wear the same shirt and smile at the same stranger. And that choice, that quiet, invisible choice, is worth more than all the money in the world. If this resonated with you, you already know what to do. Build in silence. Grow in silence. Let them wonder. The wealth you never see starts with a single decision, and that decision is yours alone.